Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, joining you here live from the 13 News Now Weather Center. And today we have a lot to discuss. I am tracking the potential for some snowfall and some rainfall here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina starting tomorrow. But today we have some dense fog starting to lift out of the area and sunshine. Weather impact alert in effect for tomorrow. I'll show you all the details of what to expect as we get into the coming basically 24 to 48 hours. So here's the three things I'm tracking. We had dense fog this morning, and now it's starting to clear out. I can see that from our sky view cameras, and I'll show you a couple of looks here across our area. Also, sunshine returns as we get into the afternoon. And then for tomorrow, we have our big day where we could see some snowfall. But from the earlier runs, I am seeing quite the difference when it comes to our snowfall totals here across Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. So this is a look at the three things that I'm tracking today. And get a look at the look of Newport News from right now from the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. And you can see that we are watching for some of that cloud cover to continue through this morning. And with this, we are seeing some very, very gray skies. I'm going to go walk into actually the studio just so I can show you some other looks from around the region of what's going on here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. So that's a look at the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view from Newport News. Let's take a look at the Virginia Beach ocean front. We'll take another camera because that one is down. And you can see that it's a very different site in Virginia Beach. Right now from our Dairy Queen camera, people are out and about on the ocean front. Obviously much too cold to be out in the water or, having a beach day, but people are bundled up just enjoying the sunshine there in Virginia Beach. Another look at what I'm seeing from Norfolk, and you can see it's much grayer as you head inland. This is a look into Portsmouth and Norfolk, and very, very gray skies, dense fog continuing. A look from Hampton, and you can see the gray skies continue there as well. So it really, really depends on where you live, if it's gray or if it's showing or some sunshine is starting to peek through those clouds. So this is a look from downtown Norfolk looking over Nauticus into Town Point Park, where gray skies are there, but it's just not as dense as it is in places around the peninsula. So a great start to our day today as temperatures continue to be in that cooler range. Right now, we've only climbed about 2 degrees since the last time I joined you here on our live stream. From earlier, we were just in those middle 30s. Made it into the upper 30s, and area-wide, this is what I'm looking at when it comes to our temperatures. We really won't see much growth in our temperatures until that sun starts to break through those clouds. Right now, you can see temperatures inland have been stuck in those lower to middle 30s, some places hovering right around freezing, and then near the coast, we're in the mid 30s to the upper 30s. Only a couple of spots around the eastern shore and the Outer Banks are in the lower to middle 40s. Now, we did have a dense fog advisory in effect for today. I'm going to see if the Weather Service has extended this, and they have not. So let's take a look and see what areas are expecting some visibility issues still this morning. And it's really going to be places I can tell fairly inland because of how temperatures have not moved. And you can tell Wakefield still dealing with some issues. Also, as you get into Franklin, Newport News still dealing with some issues, but Virginia Beach seeing very clear skies, as I showed you just a minute ago. Norfolk starting to see a little bit more of that clearing, but still foggy this morning. Most of that will start to really fade as we get into the early afternoon. So here's a look at the setup we have here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. High pressure is in control for us at the moment. And this high pressure system and its hold will be very short lived because we are watching for our next system to come through. Earlier it was showing this short wave, which is just a weather term for an upper level low pressure system or upper level front that was kind of right here between St. Louis and Memphis, that was going to drag itself through the mid-Atlantic and impact us tomorrow. Right now, not seeing that upper level front or upper level system showing up on our satellite and radar. See that cloud cover continues for places around northeastern North Carolina. Some very, very thick cloud cover, some lower lying cloud cover there, showing up now from our satellite, showing where the foggy areas are. So the lighter gray is, I guess, more of this dark, maybe darker gray, I guess. Darker gray over Richmond, Tappahannock, that's fog. The clouds above that, those are actually upper level clouds, and so those clouds are moving through, but showing that it is a very gray day here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. And here's a better view of that. You can see where the fog is, where it's kind of just sitting, those clouds sitting in place, that's fog. The clouds that are actively moving, those are actually the clouds you see up in the sky. So it's kind of cool that you can see the difference. But this will be definitely a big difference tomorrow where we are tracking wet weather. Today, not so much the case. So walking you through your futurecast for the early afternoon, temperatures will be in the upper 30s to the lower 40s for your Sunday. And then by Sunday afternoon, more clouds start to roll in with highs at best in the middle to upper 40s. Some places south can make it to the lower 50s. Cloud cover continues and we start to clear out overnight. That will allow for temperatures to cool off for us right around midnight. Temperatures inland will be in the lower 30s. Around the coast will be in the upper 30s, lower 40s. But tomorrow, I'm expecting temperatures to crash throughout the day. And that's because we could have the potential for a snow-rain mix. Now, again, those snowfall totals have dropped since I last showed you snowfall totals earlier today. But we still are expecting some light accumulations here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Timeline still virtually the same. We may have to refine this just a little bit as we get into the next few hours or so, but still 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're out and about tomorrow, especially if you're heading home from work, taking those kids back from school, you will have to deal with some of that wet weather on the roads. Inland will be mainly snow, but that snow rain line will slowly push east, and that will be the determining factor in how much accumulation we get. If we can't reach that coldness to have snow, we'll have mainly a cold rain, maybe a little bit of a sleet mix in there, but that will hinder snowfall totals. Also, if the ground is too warm, that will also hinder our snowfall totals. Plus, if we have some snow and rain mix, that rain could wash out the snow, also kind of hindering our snowfall totals. So, per the Weather Service, and Chief Meteorologist Tim Pendages and a couple of us on the weather team, Hunter and Evan, have also chimed in this morning, there is a little bit of uncertainty in the forecast for the snowfall totals because we are right on that line, that cusp of snow versus cold rain. So what you need to do is just make sure you're taking travel precautions. That means that you are letting yourself have an extra few minutes before, built into your day so you can head out on the road so you're not rushing to get places. Also making sure you keep a safe distance between you and other drivers. And if there are slip conditions, make sure your tires are properly, are properly equipped for dealing with some of that wet weather. So I want to show you tomorrow morning, because the last time we had our snow cold rain event, which is Friday, the snow and cold rain came during the morning commute. That caused accidents, that caused some issues, but that won't be the issue for tomorrow. will be dry on Monday morning. Temperatures will be in the middle to upper 30s and lower 40s. That north wind could be breezy at times. Wind gusts tomorrow could be as high as about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So a very cold start to the day. But again, once we get the snowfall potential coming through, those temperatures will quickly drop. You can see by Monday afternoon, right around lunchtime, we'll be in the lower to middle 30s. This is a rain snow line that I keep referencing. You see how thin that line is, and this is the graph model. You see how thin this line is? That is the line between the colder temperatures allowing for snowfall to occur between the slightly warmer temperatures that will only allow for rain to fall. It is so thin, and where that sets up will be the determining factor into where we see snow and where we don't see snow. So we have to really pay attention in this line. And even from the earlier updates from our models, this has definitely changed and actually has pushed further north and actually further east. Because earlier, that snow rain line, that pink line, was kind of more slicing through Norfolk and Portsmouth and Chesapeake. Now it's more towards North End, Virginia Beach through eastern Chesapeake up through the eastern shore. So a little bit of some differences here. Now, the snow will also act to help cool the air. That's through the process we call latent heat. And what that does is as the snowfall melts, or it really melts, as it melts through the air because of the warmer temperatures, it actually helps to cool the air once that snow melts. So you can see that temperatures continue to fall, some upper 20s, lower 30s for places inland around the peninsulas, down to the south side. Temperatures hovering right around freezing, if not just slightly above. And here comes that rain snow line mix where you're seeing still some cold rain in portions of Virginia Beach, maybe even some sleet all the way down through the Albemarle. And that line stays fairly consistent with the new graph model, keeping it right about the Virginia Beach Chesapeake line through 8 o'clock and then dissolving overnight. So that's an update on the graph model. I do want to show you the high resolution rapid refresh because we like to look at our short range models in times like this when we have a forecast that's only about a day or so out. So here's a look at the high resolution forecast model, and you can see that just as it is right now, we still have cloud cover and fog here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Temperatures at the moment in the upper 30s and lower 40s. And as I've been saying all day, we really won't warm up much, highs at best in those upper 40s, but that's not the concern I have at all. I mean, this is not the day that we're really concerned about. It's going to be tomorrow. So let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast from the high resolution rapid refresh. Again, another short range model that helps to tell the story fairly well, because the shorter the range in terms of the days out that these forecast models can go, the more accurate they are. So this takes us through the afternoon. As I said, highs in the middle to upper 40s for today. Excuse me, I'm gonna have a cough real quick. Excuse me. And then later on tonight, temperatures back below freezing inland with upper 30s, lower 40s around the coast. Cloud cover builds in for the high resolution rapid refresh model right around 4:30 to 5 a.m. tomorrow. As you see, the faster the arrows are moving on this graphic, the stronger the winds. So wind speeds will start to pick up with gusts up to about 35 miles per hour. Here's a look at Monday morning around 7:30 a.m. We're still fine, but cloud cover really layered on thick. And then the high resolution rapid refresh shows this potential for some rain. Now, this is only showing just precipitation, not the precipitation depiction, which is the difference between rain and snow. It's just showing the actual moisture. So let's go ahead and see if I can see it on this one. Here is the high resolution rapid refresh. Still only showing precipitation of just moisture in general. I'm trying to find the high resolution that shows snow depiction, if we have that one. Let's see. See if I can go in here in this graphic in real time and change this. Still trying to look for the precip. Here we go. There we go. Okay, see if this works. Taking us through today, and then here we go. A little bit of some of that mixing, and you can kind of see it here. I'm going to take off these clouds so you can kind of see what's going on. And it keeps things a little bit warmer during the day and then moving over into a snow by the afternoon. And that purple being that line between the rain and snow. And you can see the snow for Richmond area and then sleet for here, making it over into snow much later on in the day for the high resolution rapid refresh model. And that shows you around 7 o'clock that the snow may transition over. So that's a look at the high resolution rapid refresh with different color bars. So that I know it can kind of be confusing, but it definitely brought the snow in much, much later than the graph model. Now, excuse me, in terms of potential for snowfall, here's a look at the graph model updated just in the past about 30 minutes to an hour, and it brings about half an inch of snowfall to 1.5 to 2 inches for places much more west. Now, I will say for the graph model, this is actually a little bit higher than the totals it was showing just a little bit earlier. From the snowfall potential from the American model, you can see that projections are still anywhere from about 1 to 2 inches on the south side, lower for the peninsulas, but slightly higher as you head north of the Albemarle for Elizabeth City and Eatonton. And then snowfall potential from the high resolution rapid refresh brings just a dusting, which makes sense because as the model I just showed you shows, they don't think that the snowfall will really start happening until the late afternoon, early evening for Hampton Roads. Now, what the problem is with this is that all of our models are saying something different, right? And so confidence is kind of low on the, not necessarily the timing, but really the amount of snowfall we'll see. And again, it really depends on where that rain snow mix line sets up. Anything west of that line is going to have the snowy effects. Anything south and east of that line is going to have the cold rainfall, but still anywhere from half an inch to 1.5 inches. So I do want to show you our updated snowfall totals that we have come up with here as a weather team today from the earlier looks at the models that just came in again in the past hour or so. And you can see that we've kind of brought down the actual rainfall total, the snowfall totals from parts of the south side. Again, that very thin line is going to be the determinant. I keep saying that, but it is going to factor into it. So you can kind of see places around Norfolk and Chesapeake are kind of on that cusp of whether we get half an inch to 1 inch to 1 inch to 2 inches. But definitely places that are going to be west of the area. So that's going to be around, west of the metro. So that's going to be Franklin, Isle of Wight, Surrey. You have the potential of seeing 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. Same for Newport News and Hampton that already saw half an inch of snowfall to up to 1 inch there just on Friday. And even places around the Middle Peninsula and Southern Eastern Shore, we'll see maybe 1 to 2 inches. But we could see maybe up to 1 inch here on the eastern south side and then around Elizabeth City through Eatonton. Again, starting as rain and as the temperatures cool down, transitioning over into a snowfall. And that's depicted in that kind of bean shape of that dotted bean shape, I guess you can call it, oblong circle, oblong oval, that says rain moving over into snow in these areas, but that will again kind of potentially wash out some of those accumulations. So that's the newest update on the snowfall totals. Let's get a look at what the winter weather potential is showing for the European model versus the American model. So here's a look at the GFS model. I'll give you a little time to look at that and give you a look at the area that you're sitting in, whether that's near Accomack, Williamsburg, Norfolk, or Elizabeth City. Snapshot right around 2 p.m. on Monday, and you can see that the snowfall still, the American model says the snowfall still be covering most of the south side in northeastern North Carolina around 2 o'clock. The European model still has that snow rain mix line further west over Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, with snow a little bit further north spreading over into the peninsula and middle peninsula. So a lot to really be determined. Here's a look at the European model, which is our long-range model. Still a very great model. I mean, it does very well in most scenarios, but like I said, when we come so close to the forecast, only about 24 hours away now from the potential of flurries beginning, we like to use our shorter range models to show the higher accuracy of those solutions. So taking you through Monday around 10 a.m., 11, and you can see by 1 p.m. that the snow starts to move further east and kind of gets stuck right around Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks. But this still shows that snow would be coming through the area of Norfolk, Hampton, Williamsburg through the afternoon and finally tapering off late on Tuesday. Let's see if I can find the American model. Here we go. So here's the outlook from the American model, or the GFS, the global forecast. And you can see that this is Monday around 1 p.m. and that line is just a bit further east. But it starts to move back into sleet. And if it moves back into a sleet or rain right around the early evening, late afternoon, then snowfall totals will pretty much stop right about there. Once you make that transition over into the sleet, then it's very unlikely you can rebound from that and go back right back to snow. But it does keep the Outer Banks rainy and portions of Virginia Beach rainy as well. So a lot to really wait for. And unfortunately, that's something that we have to continue to emphasize, is that this may be, this is what's happening in the moment forecast more than a, hey, we can nail these down right here, right now, today, 24 hours out, because these models aren't really agreeing on the exact lineup of where that snow how far east that snow will push. So it's best that you stay very close to this forecast over the coming 24 hours between me here live streaming. I'm sure Hunter will be here talking about the snowfall tonight on a live stream. Craig will be here in the morning to talk about the snowfall, and I'll be there right behind him later on in the mid-morning to talk about the potential snowfall. And of course, we'll have coverage all day long with this potential snowfall coming through the area. But of course, regardless, this snowfall will clear out by late Monday, early Tuesday morning, and we'll be back to sunny skies during the day on Tuesday. I do want to show some model comparisons of snowfall potential, and these are also subject to change as well. So let's go ahead and look at some of the snowfall models, and this is for Monday. So this is comparing the NAM, which is a North American model, the GFS, which is the American model, and the European model, which is the Euro. And you can see that the NAM has definitely, I think it's doing a little too much. I will say that, especially for places around northeastern North Carolina. 5 inches is definitely out of the question for us, but an inch to 2 inches not out of the question. So it may be nailing that forecast for the south side, but definitely blowing out of proportion the projections for northeastern North Carolina. The GFS, the middle panel, that is the American model, and it shows a widespread 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. Places inland maybe getting closer to 2.5, 3 inches. And then a European model a little bit less than that, showing a little bit of a band of 1 to 1.5 inches from Franklin to Wakefield to Emporia and Ahoskie, then heading closer to the water, maybe 1 inch at most. Some places getting a little bit over half an inch. And that kind of is more in alignment with the National Weather Service and their thinking. Now, I do want to give you an update on what the Weather Service is thinking, because they put out a forecast discussion around 10:30. And let's see if I can find that forecast discussion here on my work computer. So walking over here to my work computer. And the National Weather Service, here is what they were saying for this snowfall potential. Excuse me. They say that chances of snow behind the cold front on Monday have increased. Snow accumulation is expected, especially for the Piedmont, which is more towards central Virginia and southern Virginia. But a very cold night on Monday is anticipated with temperatures in the teens and 20s. So any snow that will accumulate on the ground will keep roads covered in snow through Tuesday morning. My concern then turns to if we see rainfall or slushy roads, that could lead to the potential of maybe some black ice on Tuesday morning for that commute to work. The National Weather Service says a period of snow is likely Monday and may impact the morning commute, but that's mainly for places inland. For us, it would be the evening commute. And expect maybe around an inch of snow. But they do have a higher uncertainty in snowfall totals for the south side. So anywhere from Franklin through Isle of Wight, so Smithfield, Suffolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, down through Moyock, Elizabeth City, and through Ahoskie as well. Worst case scenario, they're saying 2 inches of snowfall. Their predictions are about half an inch to an inch. And again, those have come down from the earlier totals that we saw just this morning, where again, as I showed you on Daybreak this morning, snowfall totals were anywhere from 1 to 2.5 inches. And so that's how quickly these forecasts can change with this system. But otherwise, the Weather Service from this morning says basically that this is going to be more of these minor accumulations, but uncertainty still exists because of where that snow rain mix line will set up. One more look though at this long range forecast looking into tomorrow from our graph model, just to give you an update. Again, temperatures today right around 50, falling through the night back to the 30s and 40s, and then we see the cloud cover building in back again. This is a snapshot of 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Monday, and your morning commute will be fine. Temperatures in the mid 30s to upper 30s and lower 40s, and then temperatures fall throughout the day. Here's a look at 1 to 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 20s to the lower to middle 30s. Snowfall starting for places inland and slowly moving east. Cold rain for places around the coast, and that will continue through the afternoon, becoming a little bit more spotty here and there during the late afternoon, early evening, before tapering off late on Monday into the overnight. So again, a weather impact alert is in effect for us here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina, issued by the 13 News Now weather team. When is this going to be? This is going to be Monday 10 a.m. to Monday at 8 p.m. I think that we may see this timing but the snowfall totals could waver a little bit with inland snow and a mix of snow, sleet potential, and rain around the coast as temperatures hover just above freezing. Inland, we should see temperatures falling to the upper 20s and lower 30s. What you need to do is take travel precautions. That means, again, being safe on those roads, giving yourself distance between you and other people on the roads. Also, what you need to do is make sure that you allow yourself extra time on the roads for your Monday, especially for that evening commute, as regardless if we see those totals from up to maybe 2 inches, which is on the very, very high end, we still will see some travel impacts with the snow coming down during the evening commute. Now, I will be back yet again at 1 p.m. to give you a latest update on the forecast models, our latest thinking on snowfall totals, and what to expect for the weather impact alert for your Monday. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Sunday morning, and I'll see you in the early afternoon. Have a great rest of your morning, and again, I'll see you in a couple of hours.